What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to eat every single one of these AA's, and I'm going to tell you which one causes the most indigestion. This is a sequel to my first battery comparison video, and this time I've tested 25 new batteries and tried 2 new chemistries. In the process, I found some batteries that actually really impressed me, and I found some that were complete garbage. Because this is a sequel, I'm going to keep the explanations brief. For each cell, I performed 3 different tests. 2 on my computerized battery analyzer, 1 at 2 amps and 1 at 250 milliamps, and 1 test in my Convoy T3 flashlight. In this test, I loaded each battery into the flashlight and then graphed the output over time, setting a cutoff point at 100 lumens. I used that to determine the value for each cell in terms of dollars per minute of runtime. Now here's the really important part. I took the test results from all of these and put them into a spreadsheet that is publicly available. You can use that to compare all of these batteries in detail in order to find the best option for you. In the last video, we talked about 4 different battery chemistries: alkaline, nickel metal hydride, lithium iron disulfate, and lithium ion. This time we're adding 2 new chemistries, carbon-zinc and nickel-cadmium. Zinc chloride batteries are often labeled as heavy duty on store shelves, but your duty is to avoid these like the plague. These are an improved version of the carbon-zinc dry chemistry cells that were invented over 120 years ago. These are single-use disposable batteries, and in my tests, they performed significantly worse than everything else we have here. You can see in the flashlight test, they drop off very quickly. Now, after reaching the cutoff point, they do actually recover a little bit and continue to run for a fair bit of time. So that's worth keeping in mind when you're looking at the numbers, which is why we've provided the graphs for you to check out in the spreadsheet. But overall, the performance on these is very poor. In the CBA tests, you'll see that they plummet very quickly and die very fast. In the low drain CBA tests, they performed less bad, but still just the worst. Now, these do have a long shelf life, but are still prone to leaking. They're not as bad as the alkalines in that regard, but between the poor performance and the fact that they do still leak, I really think there's just no reason to buy these anymore. But I did want to talk about them in this video. Nickel-Cadmium. Nickel-Cadmium. Nickel-Cadmium cells are... Nickel-Cadmium cells are rechargeable batteries that have also been around a long time and are very cheap. Compared to modern nickel metal hydrides, they don't perform as well. But they do have one unique advantage, which is that they can handle being empty for long periods of time without suffering damage. So they're useful for applications basically where you're going to forget about them, then you find them again and recharge them up and they're fine and good to go. They also have very long lifespans, but I find their reduced capacity kind of negates that advantage. They're also able to handle really high current draw without losing capacity, but because their capacity wasn't that high to begin with, I just don't find that they really compete well with nickel metal hydride or lithium ion cells. NiCad batteries have very similar charging requirements to nickel metal hydride, and many chargers can support both. This is one of my favorites. This is the XTAR VC4 Plus. This is a really good charger that can handle both nickel metal hydride and NiCad. Also, I have this EBL charger here, which I use to charge D-size nickel metal hydride. It's really great, and it's also compatible with both chemistries. Most nickel metal hydride batteries do not include chargers. There's a couple that do, such as the Power Owl and Energizer cells. All of the lithium-ion converted cells do include chargers, and the reason is that they require a very particular type of charger due to their unique chemistry. Now that is where this comes in. This is the Olight O-Station Pro. Now I actually asked Olight if they'd be willing to send this for this video because I think it's a super cool product. It's basically a one-stop shop charging station for both nickel metal hydride and lithium-ion converted rechargeables. So you can just open up the back and literally dump in any batteries you want, and it will automatically sort and charge all of these, which just makes it extremely convenient if you're like me and you've got a ton of batteries. The other charger I want to talk about was sent to me by XTAR. It is included with their lithium-ion batteries, and it too can handle both nickel metal hydride and lithium-ion converted cells. So all of the other battery types I already described in detail in the previous video, so go watch that if you want to know more about those. Let's just get into the recommendations. Alkalines. You shouldn't buy them, but out of all of the ones that I tasted, the best overall were the Kirkland Signature batteries. These perform pretty well, and they are a really good value because they come in a large bulk pack. Unfortunately, these are only available at Costco. Now, last time I did get a lot of questions about the Amazon Basics alkaline batteries. These are also available in large bulk packs, and they do have a slightly lower per unit cost than the Kirklands, but the performance was worse. In fact, I prefer the newly tested Amazon Basics Industrial, which perform basically identically, but they have an even lower per unit cost because you can buy these in a huge bulk pack, up to 450 batteries. If you're looking for the best performing alkaline AA, that would be the Duracell Power Boost. This was definitely better than any of the other alkalines I tested, but it is a really expensive battery. It's still not something I recommend. I did get a lot of questions last time about the Varta batteries. These are German made. I tested the Varta Industrial Pro and the Varta Long Life alkalines. And these turned out to be the most expensive and worst performing alkalines, respectively. So they're pretty bad, don't buy them. Maybe they're cheaper if you live in Europe, they're probably cheaper, but they still do not compare favorably. Okay, so here's the thing about alkalines. About half of the batteries that I tested actually performed worse on a single charge than most nickel metal hydride cells. So in terms of dollars per minute of runtime, you would actually be better off buying most of these nickel metal hydrides and then throwing them away after using them once. So really bad value proposition from the alkalines. And in fact, that's one of the main reasons I even made these videos, was to stop people from buying alkalines, because they're honestly just a huge waste of money. My favorite flavor of ice cream. Nickel metal hydride batteries are my favorite flavor, and the award for best overall battery still goes to the standard white wrapped Panasonic eneloop. Now these are a bit pricier than the competition, but these are excellent performers. They're made to a very high standard, so they're very consistent. They have no notable self-drain. They're incapable of leaking, and they have the longest lifespan out of all the batteries I tested. They're rated for 2100 cycles. So these are just really excellent overall. Now, a lot of people pointed out that the IKEA Lada cells are actually made in the Panasonic factory. However, these are not made to the same spec as the eneloops, and in my testing, they did perform slightly worse. They're also rated for fewer charge cycles. However, they do represent very good value. Now, the best value nickel metal hydride is still the Power Owl 2800. This is a very good performing battery, comes at a low price, and it includes a charger. Now, interestingly, I added the Power Owl Pro to this test, and I found that they were actually the same as the Power Owl 2800. So I really think these Pro batteries are just the same cells, rewrapped and sold for a higher price. So I would avoid the Pros and I would just buy the Power Owl 2800s, the standard ones. Now, the best performing high capacity nickel metal hydride is now the Tenergy Premium Pro, which also wins the award for best value high capacity nickel metal hydride. This is a really great battery. Now, it is rated for 1200 cycles, which is high. I think that's a bit optimistic, but even if it doesn't reach that, it's still a very good value. Now, if you're looking to buy nickel metal hydride batteries in bulk, then the Tenergy Premium, the standard premium with the blue markings, is a very good option. You can get this in large bulk purchases, and it performs well. Now, not all nickel metal hydride batteries are created equal. The PK Cell 1200, which I've actually got over here, the Tenergy Solo Premium, and the rayovac Recharge, these were the worst nickel metal hydrides that I tested. They really did not perform well. Now, the three Energizer rechargeable options, they were fine, but none of them presented very good value, even with the included chargers. The best performing AA out of everything that I tested was the Power Owl lithium battery. Now, the only other lithium battery that I tested was the rayovac lithium. It did pretty well, about middle of the pack, but this one is nice because it does come in some pretty big bulk packs, so it's a decent option. That's really all I have to say about this category. Pretty much the same as last time. All right, y'all, carbon-zinc batteries. Carbon-zinc batteries are literally the worst across the board. They are atrociously bad. Don't buy them. But if you did want to buy them, I don't recommend any of them. In fact, the worst battery that I tested was the Panasonic Carbon-Zinc. This guy lasted for a whopping 10 seconds in our flashlight runtime test. So it's a waste of money. Now, some people in the comments I'm sure will be like, oh no, I have this X niche use case for Carbon-Zinc batteries. Look, you're wrong. Hey, lithium-ion batteries. These are the lithium-ion cells with the 1.5 volt buck conversion circuit added. Now, I was actually sent 2 of them, one from Olight and one from XTAR. And these both performed quite well, actually. In fact, the XTAR lithium-ion batteries were the best performing in this category. So these get my overall recommendation. Now, included with this batteries was also this really cool charger. I really like XTAR chargers. This can handle both these lithium-ion cells and nickel metal hydride. Now, Olight sent me these lithium-ion batteries that actually come with the O station normally. The O station can also charge both lithium-ion converted cells and nickel metal hydrides. This is a good performing battery and it represents great value. The contender for best value is still the Z-Path 3600, and this is the one that comes with that really cool charger that I liked. This would be my top recommendation. The life cycle claim of 2000 charge cycles is pretty optimistic, I think. If that's not true, then if it's 1000 like these other ones, then the Olight now wins the value category. Both are very good. Now, if you want a USB-C charging port on your battery, then the Coast and the Nitecore batteries both have that option, which is quite cool. And they both performed very well. However, one of the Nitecore batteries that I tested actually had an issue with the converter circuit, which prevented it from working in my flashlight, and it prevented it from being able to be tested on my battery analyzer. And that's something you have to be aware of with these cells. Is it's kind of a newer technology, and it does have this whole extra circuit on top, which can lead to issues. It can fail and cause problems in certain sensitive electronics as well. Most of these lithium-ion cells, they hold their voltage steady and then they just immediately die, which is really cool and that's desirable in some situations. But sometimes that means your electronics will just say they have full battery and then they'll instantly die, which can be an issue. In the Coast Zithian X, when we tested this, we found that the output dropped gradually over time. The company actually reached out to us after that first video and told us that this is an intentional design decision. The idea is that when you use this in your electronics will actually be able to tell you how much battery life is left, as if this was a normal alkaline AA. So that's actually a really thoughtful design choice, which I do appreciate. Honestly, I don't recommend nickel-cadmium cells for most people. I think they're just inferior to nickel metal hydrides. However, if you do want to buy NiCads, then the PK Cell 1000 was the best, both in terms of performance and value. So that's the one that I would recommend. If you do want to buy them in bulk, then the Tenergy NiCad does come in some pretty nice bulk purchase options. You can get them in packs of 100. But for the most part, I would steer you towards nickel metal hydride cells. Okay, ultimately, my #1 recommendation overall is the Panasonic eneloop. I think this is the best battery for most people. Also, I recommend really any high-value nickel metal hydride, such as the Power Owl. Now, here's the thing. No battery is a true one-size-fits-all option. And that is why I've created that spreadsheet, which I've linked in the description to this video, which has detailed information from all of my testing. So please go check that out for detailed comparisons to find the best battery for your use case. In that spreadsheet and also in the description to this video are affiliate links to all of these batteries. So using those when you purchase these will help support this channel. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you found this video helpful, please share it with your friends and family and your enemies. If you disagree with anything that I've said, please feel free to yell at me in the comments. And yeah, goodbye.